Okay, so as you can see, she's done a lot, and that's a lot to take in. Like, could this person really do this? Remember, her cult is 120 million members now. 120 million members. One of the things is I don't even know where to begin with this. She is holding my brain and body hostage. She's running a hostage racket. Now, she's holding me hostage, but then I think she's told people that I'm dead, that I'm not really alive anymore, and so she just thinks that she's free to just kill me or whatever. But she was holding me hostage for money inside the FBI. There was something up on me that she was holding me hostage. But she blames it on other people when she's the one holding me hostage. She has a huge hostage racket. So she has my brain locked down. Mind space is when it's communicating telepathically. It's like you're in a gigantic chat room, basically, is what it is. And then she can parse it off and divide it off. And it's like if you're in a private messenger, like she can use firewalls. She's not supposed to be doing any of this, but she does this. So you can talk individually to people, or you can be like in an entire chat room. So I call mind space. That's what I call it, communicating telepathically. So she has my mind space locked down, which is my brain wave technology, to where I'm completely surrounded by her and her Charles Manson cult. I used to have access to everyone, but she slowly cut all that off, and every day she poisons me more and more and more. My life could end. But the bad news is for her, and enough people know that she's trying to kill me, that if I die, to hold her responsible for my death. So her killing me is going to get her nowhere. Anyway, it is hard to believe that she committed all those crimes, but she did commit all those crimes. She is leader of Charles Manson. So taking her bloodline back further, so Christopher Columbus is related to Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate is the man who killed Jesus. People in My Decoder Network, okay, and this was the Nation of Islam that went back and did this research. Pontius Pilate, his bloodline was researched because, okay, we know that she took Jesus' life. Was Pontius Pilate related to Lucifer? Because Lucifer was a real person that walked the earth in the Holy Bible, right? So is it possible that they're related? So they went back and checked the bloodline. Yeah, Pontius Pilate is related to Lucifer. This woman, Jean Roberts, is literally related to Satan. And obviously she is. Do you know anybody in history who planned to kill all of mankind? No. She would be the one. And that's what she's in the process of doing right now. We are in a massive, massive terror attack that she is orchestrating. She blocks us from whistleblowing. I'm connected to other whistleblowers. She blocks us from whistleblowing. And then she steals all of my decode, and then she runs out and she impersonates politicians, she impersonates police, FBI, and she pretends that she's the one doing decoding. She's even pretended to be me to some people in Mindspace, okay? She will impersonate anyone and everyone. So she's trying to run her racket and get away with all the crimes she's committed. Meanwhile, I sit and continue to decode after decode. I mean, last night I sat and decoded more on her freaking hideout and in Chatsworth, California. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So we are in a terror attack. Okay. She did do 9/11. The Middle East did not do 9/11. Nobody in the Middle East did 9/11. She did 9/11. She blamed it on the Middle East and she blamed it on the military. The Middle East nor the military did 9/11. She did 9/11 as leader of Charles Manson cult. In fact, she was the one that I decoded this. And I decoded, so I'm going back through my life, through my childhood in the 70s. I'm decoding her Charles Manson knick-knack paddywhack code. That's what I call it. That's what Snoop Dogg calls it too. I mean, he's the one that called that freaking, because it pisses us off. Because we're not going to go on the mad rant. We're not doing that. Okay, so she ripped off instructions on how to fly airplanes in the 60s and 70s. And she brags about this. As I'm decoding it, I can see her bragging about ripping off instructions on how to fly planes. And a lot of people, I mean, it's probably a requirement in a Charles Manson cult to know how to fly airplanes. She is an expert at robotically flying airplanes, where she doesn't even have to be in the airplane. She's known how to fly an airplane since the 1960s. She mind wiped, she ice raped the pilots in 9/11. She ice raped them. She mind wiped them. She took them, she made them where they could not control anything about their body. And then she took control of the airplane, and with her hands on the AI remote control, she drove those planes into the World Trade Center. She also drove the plane into the Pentagon. She also crashed the plane in Pennsylvania. The pilots were terrified. I know that they were terrified, because can you imagine you driving a car, okay? Imagine you driving a car and all of a sudden you can't feel your arms on the steering wheel, and all of a sudden the car's like driving itself. You can feel your hands moving, steering the car, but it's not your hands moving the freaking steering wheel. It's someone else moving your hands, moving the steering wheel. And you're not in control of exiting, stopping, starting, anything. So, I mean, she can remote control you to drive right into a freaking semi. And you're not in control. Imagine how terrified they were. Plus, she can control your speech. You can see how she controls my speech, all right? The more you hear me talk in recordings, the more you're going to hear her control my speech. Okay, so imagine how terrified they were. I was told this. She used voice modulators, and she does this a lot in AI and Mindspace. She won't let anybody, for one, she won't let anybody talk in their own voice. She makes men sound like women. She loves to emasculate men. It's her favorite thing to do. She hates men. I mean, she hates men, okay? She makes men talk as women. She will not let men talk in their own voice. She talks as a man all the time, which is also emasculating as hell, because she makes men sound like little fucking bitches, and they're not. Okay? So she is exerting power and control over mankind by doing that. She also uses these creepy, warpy voice modulators, and she uses these to torture people abajo, and I'm going to talk about that in another recording. She even tortured Mary Lou with these voices. Okay, so she used these creepy voice modulators, and she does this in AI Mindspace. She tortures people abajo with this, and she tortured the pilots with this. And then she drove them into the World Trade Center. She committed the World Trade Center attack. The leader of Charles Manson did that. Now, I have decoded several pages now of her doing the 9/11 attack. I've got a lot of decode done. She did this all. She cannot blame anyone else. She did it as leader of Charles Manson. She is not able, she's not able or capable of even saying a stupid lie, such as blaming it on the Middle East or the military, because neither one of them did it. Okay? The Middle East knows now, and I know people in the Middle East, the Middle East knows now that she did 9/11. In the beginning, they had heard that my family, because she was trying to make people believe that my family did 9/11. My family didn't do 9/11. She did 9/11. So they had heard that my family had done 9/11. Okay, and other people had heard that too, when that's not true. She did 9/11. So they know, because of decode, unplagiarized decode that gets past them, they know that she did 9/11. They also know that nobody's arresting her and nobody's stopping her, and that's becoming a problem for everyone on the planet, because now she's committing more terrorism.